What's up, y'all? It's your girl Kendra J, the melanated motivator. Welcome back to another episode of Motivated Motivation. So today, let's talk relationships. Okay. Is it possible that the things you crave in a relationship are due to things that you've lacked in your childhood? Now, obviously, when I say the things you crave in your relationship or lacked in your childhood, I'm talking more emotionally. I guess I'm talking emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically to an extent. Like, y'all who craving strange sex and weird stuff, kinky. I'm not gonna say weird because to each his own. Do you, boo? Do you? I don't mean that type of stuff. That's not what I mean here. I mean, help me out. I'm trying to figure this shit out because my mind goes more deeper into it all the time, and I'm like, ugh, let's discuss this. In reality, I believe our childhood um, molds us into the adults that we turn out to be as a product of many things that has happened before getting to adulthood. As traumatized children, I believe that we always dreamed that someone would come and save us. We never dreamed that it would, in fact, be ourselves as adults who would be the one saving us. It's kind of a what's that Jody had in Baby Boy? An Oedipus complex. We're programmed, or should I say, childhood was the time where programming made us believe certain things and sit around and wait for somebody to save us, not realizing that little you will soon become bigger you, and all of the things that you experienced will be your responsibility to overcome, which is unfortunate for some because a lot of us lack natural love languages like acts of service, which is the ability to do things for others genuinely and without reward, without feeling like you need to get something in return, without the intention of feeling like you want to get something in return. Like, let's start there. Intention. Quality time, which is the ability to be fully available and give attention to another person outside of yourself. Not a lot of us practice words of affirmation. And this is the ability to express your love and gratitude for another person with words. But it starts with self, right? How can you tell someone I love you and truly mean it if you don't love yourself? Or if you've never felt love before? Gifting. This is the ability to be able to thoughtfully, in a giving manner, in a meaningful way, for another person. Just because. Thinking of you. And lastly, the physical touch. This is a tough one. A lot of marriages are rocky because they lose sight of the physical touch. The ability to share your space and closeness with another person intimately. Doesn't necessarily mean sex, but cuddling, spooning, kissing, hugging. I think laughter brings physical touch. Just being within each other's space. Sharing a positive energetic connection. And I'm going to add forgiveness, love, affection, and companionship. A lot of people lack forgiveness, love, affection, and companionship in their childhoods, and they lack it in their adulthood as well. Everything is energy. I can't stress this enough. I feel like I'm always putting y'all on game about how important the energy is and must be protected at all times. Um, Everything is energy, and that is all there is to it. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but to get that reality. It can be no other way. Like, literally, this isn't philosophy, it's physics. And if you don't know what philosophy means, it's basically a theory or attitude that acts as a guiding principle for behaviors. Whereas physics is the physical properties and phenomena of something else. So, phenomenon, which is a perception or a fact or situation that's observed and believed to be true. And when I say something else, I'm talking about chemistry and biology. The elements of the world. What is it? Neutrons, protons, and electrons? Chemistry and biology. Anytime you find yourself giving more energy than you receive, you have to step back. It's imperative. It's imperative. When I talk about relationships, it tends to force me to think about what are the impactful behaviors and or consequences of childhood traumas. So let's break it down. Cognitively, you have difficulty and lack the ability to problem solve. You know why you get so mad and angry when shit happen? Because you don't know how to problem solve. Your automatic defense mechanism is attack. But if you weren't suffering from these childhood traumas that you've never been able to deal with or acknowledge, you will have better chances with problem solving skills. You also lack the ability to learn or have the readiness to learn. Like, it's not a factor for you at the moment. You lack speech and language delays. You have problems concentrating. And you have poor academic achievement, which means you lack motivation. So childhood traumas affect you cognitively in those ways. There possibly is more ways, I'm sure. There's always more of something. But we're going to keep it surface. Then you have your physical health. Basically, you have sleep problems, eating problems or disorders, poor immune system, and poor immune system functioning, which also is a product of heart problems, heart disease, shorter lifespans, and then let me be clear. When I say shorter lifespans, a lot of people don't realize that the energy they harness that is traumatic and negative creates these ailments that we suffer from, like some mental health issues, some behaviors, some chemical imbalances. Like, I'm not going to be specific there. We'll talk about that at another time. But shorter lifespans. It also affects your emotions, difficulty controlling them, um, problems recognizing or even acknowledging your emotions, limited coping skills, increased sensitivity to stress. You always feeling shame or guilty, excessive worry or hopelessness, and you lack the ability to succeed or feel you feel helpless. The other areas are obviously the relationships that you try to have are going to be affected. You're going to have attachment problems and disorders, which any disorder is basically a state of confusion or disruption. It's off. It's not working. It's not right. Something difficult to achieve. When you have problems, it's difficult to achieve. You have poor understanding of social interactions or just poor social interactions in general. You may have difficulty forming relationships, and you may have problems in the romance part of relationships. And most importantly, you have difficulty with intergenerational cycles of abuse and neglect. Basically, you're relating to or involved with several generations being affected. So it's intergenerationally. It's a cycle. It's continuous. Your mama's might have dealt with this. Male, female, doesn't matter. History tends to repeat itself when healing hasn't happened. Mental health is huge. Trauma affects this in so many ways, but the biggest ones are depression, anxiety, negative self images, negative or low self esteem. Post traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, is huge. Huge. It's so many people walking around with that huge. And the biggest one is suicidality. Like, are so people are dealing with so much that they don't have an outlet, and they create one. That's that control piece. And the only feasible thing to do is they feel like killing themselves or committing suicide, or even attempting suicide is best for them. I don't want to say they're irrational, but that's their rational reality in that moment. So yeah, that's a huge one. Childhood traumas also induce behaviors, or create them rather. Behaviors like poor self-regulation, people who just cannot control themselves. You think that it's okay for you to cuss people out and get shitty with them because you don't like what they said, you don't like, how they talk, how they look. You just mad. Horrible. Control yourself. Especially you grown ass adults who know fucking better. Somebody raised you right enough to know how to properly talk to people and communicate. But some of y'all assholes just don't care. Or I don't know what it is. But one of y'all tried me, and I'm just so happy for the growth that I'm having, because I told Shorty, I said, baby girl, you try this, sis, but be blessed, love. Sending nothing but positive energy your way. I'm no longer arguing with you hexes. If you mad, stay mad. But that energy will not be received over here. I just have to put that out there. Disclaimer. Um, Other behaviors are like social withdrawal. And when I was thinking about social withdrawal, I was like, damn, I wonder if that's the excuse with introvert versus extrovert phenomenon. Other things are aggression, poor impulse control, risk taking, participating in illegal or criminal activity, sexually acting out, like risque behavior, not like, oh, you a king or you freaky. No, risque behavior is just doing it just because to get some type of dopamine reaction or whatever, adrenaline rush, whatever you want to call it. Adolescent pregnancies is a tough one to kind of discuss, but I'm gonna say intentional adolescent pregnancies that go along with those sexually acting out risque moments. And drug and alcohol misuse. That's a huge one as well. Brain development. Smaller brain sizes, less efficient processing or brain use, weakened or damaged stress responses, like it's completely impaired, malfunction, and changes in your gene expression. So a chemical imbalance, basically. You're a little off, a little touched, something. I don't mean to say it like that, but we all a little touched, a little special. We just got different, areas. Everybody ain't the same. Some of us are similar, but we're not all the same. We all deal and have issues differently. I realize that we are not defined or bound by our past, but it does matter. The past matters. Why? Why does your past matter? Because it shapes and molds us, whether good or bad. It does. In infant and early childhood mental health, well, first of all, let me tell you that infant and early childhood mental health is a systemic matter. Um, it is a system. And if you aren't familiar with this philosophy, research Erik Erikson for some knowledge. Like when I was going through my MSW program and doing like cognitive behavior therapies and just learning how your infantry and adolescence affects you as an adult. It was very interesting from a sociological point of view. But infant and early childhood mental health does touch us in all forms because it informs how we show up in the world. Our experiences, what we go through, what we live through, is the expression in the world that we create. Sometimes it's involuntarily. Some people have been through things that they had no control of. But, it happens like that sometimes. So many of these aspects that I've named, I've just described either they fly under the radar of acknowledgement. Sometimes they're ignored, Or the big one is they're used to treat a person as psychologically abnormal or unhealthy. Just because you going through some shit don't mean you not human and that you don't deserve respect, love, well-being, and etc etc etc. I encourage you all to start breaking all of these fucked up generational curses, specifically my black people. Like, I'm not disregarding any other person, but as a melanated person, my community, I have to say, I feel suffers tremendously because we don't embark on healing. It's time, because I have started. We have to embrace oh, excuse me. We have to embrace that we are the creators of our own successes. Command and manifest whatever you want. You have the world at your feet, like literally. And it's time to heal your bloodline and affirm your purpose on this earth. It's okay to be into your horoscopes, but I'm gonna need some of y'all to get familiar with that DSM-5. Get that help, honey. Your mental health does not deserve to be suffering like this. You don't deserve to be suffering like this. Sometimes I feel like Satan, the devil, be knowing that people, and don't forget, I'm especially talking to you black people, that we specifically are longing to feel wanted and loved. I think that's a real reality for us. So, in turn, he uses us against us. That's a reality for us too. We are two against each other. Not enough love going on within our community. But we can't give him all the credit. Many of us can't give and lack the ability to receive what was either never given to them or what they never had in their families or relationships. I've learned that a wise person knows not to argue or debate with fools. So stop trying to convince the devil that he's evil. But instead, wake up the God and Goddess in you. Embrace your power to help heal and grow from all of these adversities you possibly may relate to. I'm sure we all relate to some aspect of what I've described. But we need to normalize forgiveness. Even if you never get an apology, forgive for you. Holding on to that toxic energy is more depleting to your body than you know. Normalize being true to who and what you are, and not allowing social media to determine your worth. You are enough. I'm telling you, you are. Normalize acknowledging that a bad moment may have happened, but don't let that shit spoil your whole day. Take back your power and your joy. And also, normalize asking for help. And I too have needed to work on this. I'm a very prideful, self-sufficient person, and I feel like if I ask somebody for help and they don't respond or take their sweet ass fucking time, it does piss me off, and I be like, fuck you, I don't need you, never mind. But we gotta stop doing that too. I'm sure some of y'all can relate. We're all interconnected and we all need each other at some point in time. So let's work on healing that too. Oh yeah, normalize therapy in the black community. Therapy isn't about being given the answers. It's about being given the space and the opportunity to find the answers for yourself. Sometimes you just need a sounding board. But it's so taboo in the black community. Oh, we don't get therapy. Or That toxic ass, what happened in this house stays in this house. Girl, bye. That's why that shit keep happening. Because y'all always want to keep secrets and shit. Who you running from? Who you scared gonna hear what you got to say? And then in turn, your children grow up with them same toxic ass behaviors, and they got all this childhood trauma that they haven't healed from because you, as the parent, decided that it didn't need to be discussed. Oh, okay. All of us need some healing, from the parents to the grandparents to the parents to the grandparents. Everybody, the whole bloodline is at stake. Healing can and will happen only and only when we feel connected and like we belong. Did y'all hear what I said? The fastest way to heal trauma is to create an environment of safety and belonging instead of separation and anxiety. Seek out and create environments and relationships of safety, connection, and belonging in your healing and optimization of your journey. When I say optimization of your journey, I'm talking about the action of making the best or most effectiveness within a situation or of resources. You belong here, and I love you guys. We have to support one another. I literally need y'all to understand that as long as you are looking for love in order to avoid yourself, avoiding facing your traumas, running from your healing, you never find it. Not truly. Love always meets us where we truly are. So healing is non-negotiable. Let's get her done. I find that the universal law is that you learn your lessons as you heal. We repeat what we don't repair, people. Correct and release your karma. Forgive. Let go. Release. Be free. Heal. Rise. Grow and evolve. Stay hurt. For what? Be mad at others for why? Who's doing that? Stop that shit. We don't have time. It's too much stuff going on that we need to focus on. But you can't do it without healing. But you're not going to heal when you're still holding on to old bullshit. Let that shit go. Literally. Start making peace and let it go. Nothing ever goes away until it teaches us what we need to know. In my process of self everything right now, I've learned that we don't need anyone to be our peace because we have that. And for some of us, we're working towards having that at least. So the reality is what you really need is for your significant other or your family, your friends to be at peace with themselves. Energy matches energy. We're all syncing with one another. You know how much energy you walk through every day? All the interactions that you have daily? Come on now. Understand this, people. you need to be connected with people who are also working on their healing for themselves, peace for everyone, so that everyone can love each other correctly. Because I tell you what, we've been doing it wrong. We've been doing it wrong. Everybody think that love is unconditional. The word unconditional not even real. That shit is made up, plagiarized. Real love is conditional. Because I'm gonna give you an example. A family of a drug addict, they say they love them, they support them. It's the behavior that they don't like. The fact that they're addicted to drugs, the fact that they steal from them, and not focusing on getting themselves together, right? But they say, oh, but I love you unconditionally. No, you don't. If you love them unconditionally, why you got so many rules and barriers that affect your relationship? Then you wouldn't care that they steal. You wouldn't care that they do drugs. You wouldn't care that they didn't get themselves together. But you do care because you have conditions. Conditional love is healthy. Even God is a conditional lover. A lot of y'all may feel like, oh no, he loves me unconditionally because no matter what I do, he forgives me. That's not true. If that were true, none of us would have judgment day. And Christ clearly wouldn't have had to die for our sins. He wouldn't have been a sacrificial lamb. So I ain't gonna get, too into it about that. But I will say, start having conditions. Ain't nothing wrong with conditions and boundaries. That's true in real love. If y'all want me to discuss it further, let me know. I will. But, remember, be in the now. Because everything else is last week's problem. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, bye.